Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your friendly neighborhood vault dweller, Doczilla, and I'm here with a spine-tingling dissection of the Fallout 4 trailer along with some speculation about what the game is going to have. Now, I apologize for the quality of my microphone right now. I'm away from both of my microphones. I have a mobile and a immobile one back home. I wasn't thinking of recording this stuff. I didn't even know this trailer was going to drop. Thanks for warning me, Bethesda. I would have been ready. But we're just going to review this as is, so you're just going to have to hold on to it, and maybe next video we'll have some better content for you. What's this video going to be? It's going to be dissecting the trailer, some of the designs, the locations. I've grown up around Boston pretty much. I spent most of my life visiting family there, so I might know them, and it's exciting for me to go visit it. And finally, we're going to speculate on what the game might be from what we already know, both from the trailer and from stuff we've seen in previous Fallout games. Okay, so if you haven't seen the trailer first, go watch it. It's epic, it's amazing, and I can't do it justice. Okay, you watched it? We good? You sure? You positive? Okay, let's do this. Well, let's face it wouldn't be a real Fallout game without the ink spots, now would it?
But the cry.
Get ready to see a lot of these flashbacks. The trailer is chock full of them. Also, kudos to Ron Perlman for rocking that newscaster voice.
Folks, it seems...
And there's the Mr. Handy that ruined my birthday in Fallout 3.
We've got some breaking news. Stand by.
It's all over. No, I'm dry.
Take note of all the shots of dog meat we get in this video, and I'm just calling him dog meat for reference. Is he going to be a huge part of the game? Is he just a vehicle for the trailer? What's going on here?
To forget about how much I care for you.
We seem to have lost
Some lore for lore's sake as we hear Ron Perlman's narration. There was a lot of confusion at the Great War. No one still knows who dropped the first bombs. We do know the West Coast was hit before the East Coast, but that's about all we know. Are all these flashbacks hinting at us finding out what happened before the war, maybe the moments leading up to it? Also, notice the big presence of the Enclave in this trailer. More on that later.
War never changes.
You're either not a Fallout fan or lying if that line didn't give you some chills. Boston confirmed, there's Bunker Hill and the Bunker Hill Lodge. Why does the USS Constitution have rocket engines? Skole Square, originally torn down in the 1960s. Is that the mysterious stranger? Well, it wouldn't be a Fallout game without everyone's favorite freaks, the super mutants. That's a different looking Protectron. Also, construction in Boston, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Shut up, I'm funny. Hey, look, everyone's favorite player killer is back, the Deathclaws. Also, does this look more wastelandy and irradiated to you guys? Ah, the majestic vertibird, usually a sign of the Enclave, but maybe not in this case. More on that later. 200 years later, and The Walking Dead still hasn't ended. Fenway Park. Oh, the Red Sox fan inside me is dancing for joy right now. I like how it looks all fortified. Maybe they call it Fort Fenway now? Also, check out the Raider on the front. I'm thinking that some kind of cult or maybe a military force has taken over, and they've started a cult around hating the New York Yankees. More on that, wait for it, later. iBots are usually a dead giveaway of an Enclave presence, but again, maybe not in this case. More on that, say it with me kids, later. A beautiful day on post-apocalyptic Lansdowne Street, right behind scenic Fort Fenway. Check out the names of some of these businesses. Chemicare, Power Noodles, Diamond City Surplus. This is a town that's got an economy, which refutes something we'll talk about, wait for it, later. A beautiful shot of Paul Revere and the Old North Church, and what appears to be the Hindenburg 2.0. Hope that thing's got helium in it. Glad to see the trusty T-45D power armor hasn't fallen out of circulation. That's a trusty model. Though is this an Enclave soldier or a Brotherhood of Steel paladin? We'll talk about all the factions and all the reasons we think they might be here later. Well, no mistaking that golden dome, that's the Massachusetts State House. I wonder if Quincy Market's still here and still is a gigantic tourist trap. Well, at least our precious bodily fluids are safe from the communists. This is just an epic shot, and I love all the little details it gives. Look at the magazines, the ammo, the sweet weapons. There's a minigun down there in the corner, and most importantly, not just the power armor, but the Vault Tech bobblehead. Are those collections going to be back in circulation? And the real Wham line drops in 3, 2, 1.
Let's go, pal.
Roll credits, we're done here. Fallout 4 is happening. I can die a happy man. Oh, wow. Was that a big trailer or what? I don't know how you feel about the talking protagonist. I feel pretty okay with it. I'm assuming that's going to be over intro and outro stuff, and I'm not sure what else that's going to apply to, but I'm excited to see where they go with this game. Now, recuperate, take a break, have some water, because we're about to dive into this stuff in earnest. Ready? Let's go. We're going to start with the garage shot, because as amazing as this is, we're going to be spending the least amount of time on it. Take a look at some of the few details we have here. Specifically, the power armor that's front and center. Looks awfully piecemeal and work in progress, doesn't it? Either this is his own power armor and he's maintaining it, or this is implying we'll be able to make our own suit of power armor either from the ground up, or scavenge or prospect it from fallen power armor pieces. I think it'd be an amazing thing to have in this game that allows for so much customization. In Fallout New Vegas, mods were a thing, and I really enjoyed them. Now this does imply two other things. That our protagonist likely knows how to work machines, it's an RPG, maybe he comes equipped with this stuff, or this is his own power armor, implying he knows how to wear it, which means one of two factions has arrived here. Now let's talk about the protagonist some. Our protagonist is going to be a little bit different this time around, aside from the fact that they talk. They're not going to be your standard vault dweller or courier or a lone wanderer, though this shot does seem to have a callback to Fallout 3. They're going to have their own history and their own story. That at least is what some leaked documents indicate. Now in a Kotaku article, it's in the description below if you want to read it yourself, that they go through the details of this video themselves. In that article, they show some leaked documents, one of which is an opening monologue, read not by Ron Perlman, but by the character itself. And I'm going to read that monologue now. I'm not sure it's going to be as good as the voice actor will be, but we'll see. War. War never changes. In the year 1945, my great-grandfather, serving in the Army, wondered when he'd get to go home to his wife and son he'd never seen. He got his wish when the U.S. ended World War II by dropping atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world awaited Armageddon. Instead, something miraculous happened. We began to use atomic energy not as a weapon, but as a nearly limitless source of power. People enjoyed luxuries once thought the realm of science fiction. But then, in the 21st century, people awoke from the American dream. Years of consumption led to shortages of every major resource. The entire world unraveled. We now stand on the brink of total war, and I am afraid. For myself, for my wife, and for my infant son. Because of my time in the Army taught me one thing, is that war never changes. I'm assuming that our female heroes will have a different monologue, probably not much different. One thing that will likely say the same is that they mentioned that they're part of an army. Now, what army is this? We're a long way away from the New California Republic, so it's not them. A longer way away from Kaiser's Legion, so I know it's not them. Is it the Brotherhood of Steel? The Enclave? Or is it some new faction? I'm banking on that, because due to some previous Fallout lore, we know there are other factions at work here, and we know that they're probably not getting along with each other too much. Dr. Zimmer, who visits Rivet City in Fallout 3, explains that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is a pretty chaotic place to be.
The Commonwealth itself is nothing but a war-ravaged quagmire of violence and despair. Inside the sealed environment of the Institute, however. But the Institute's affairs are none of your concern. Your undeveloped mind couldn't even begin to comprehend what we've accomplished.
Now, what army is our protagonist working for? Zimmer did mention a possible source of that, the Institute. Now, the Institute, formerly the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is a huge source of technological innovation here in Boston. Now, we've seen their androids in Fallout 3. If you haven't played that quest yet, I won't spoil it for you, but I will say it's one of the better quests in that game. We do know their androids are pretty close to human, unless you get under the skin and see all the cables and stuff. That's a great reason to bring all the other big factions we know from around the Wasteland in. For example, the Brotherhood of Steel. We know they definitely have to be interested in acquiring that technology and preserving it. We've seen the T-45D power armor, we've seen the vertibirds, and we know they use those. We've also seen the Zeppelin, and I think that might be an indication of the Brotherhood. Why, you ask? Well, because in Fallout Tactics, which isn't considered canon, the Brotherhood of Steel made their way east in Zeppelins, one of which crashed outside Chicago. I don't know if that's going to be a Brotherhood of Steel Zeppelin or an Institute Zeppelin or what's going on there, but it is still an impressive sight, and it is something to get, the gears going and get you thinking. Now, what about the Enclave? We saw the Enclave herding people into the vaults in the beginning of the trailer, like they do. And I think they're probably present, but in a more subtle way. Where's the Institute getting the resources to make all this stuff? Probably from the Enclave, the biggest game in the Wasteland right now. That's what I think is going on here, is that the Enclave is playing a very subtle hand through the Institute. Now, maybe the army isn't part of that. Maybe it's the army of Vault 111. That could be a very real possibility, which is why he's wearing the combat suit. I think that's probably the reason where he gets that, but I don't know if that's for sure. He does mention that a great war is brewing on the horizon, which means that there's going to be a huge brawl set up for Boston in the days to come. It's going to be probably a living hell, and we're probably going to have to bring peace or win a war or something, and knowing Fallout Protagonist, we're probably going to die in the process. One thing that I would really love to see is our protagonist being an android. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's what it's going to be, but I would love to see that. Just think about playing through an entire game and thinking you're working through the good guys, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're working for the Institute, and maybe they're not as great as guys as you've been programmed to think. Maybe you don't actually have a wife and kid. Maybe they're just, programmed in there. Maybe you don't know for sure. There's a lot of great opportunities in Boston for some great groups and some great factions. Like I said, Fort Fenway could be made into some damn Yankee hate cult for all I know. But it's a great idea, and it's a great realm of possibilities, and I don't know where we're going to start with it. We've seen that it has an economy, we've seen that it's got a lot of potential, and we've seen that the game is going to offer us a lot of great things. We'll probably see more come E3, and I plan to do a follow-up when that happens, but until then, feel free to let me know what you think of this video. This is going to be my first one for a while, and again, I apologize for the quality, but I will get to do some better ones once I'm back home with my microphones. Do you want to see more videos like this of trailer breakdowns? Do you want to see other stuff? Maybe some Fallout lore videos? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. This is your friendly neighborhood Doczilla, signing off.